All right, guys, for our next video, we're going to head out to Tempe, Arizona, 2:30 for the Arizona State Sun Devils and the BYU Cougars. This is a massive game, Freddie. Huge, huge game. Sun Devils are favored by 3, so it's basically a pick 'em. Winner is now in the top 2 to make the Big 12 championship game. I want to point out, by the way, BYU, Colorado, Arizona State, all picked in like the bottom 5 preseason for this conference, and they're the top 3. So no
Arizona
one knew
State was
it.
picked dead last.
Dead last. Yeah. And now here we are. Their one win, upset win over BYU. Well, I guess it's not even an upset, but a win over BYU away from making the Big 12 championship game. And how devastating for BYU. A loss here, and you went from like the darling of everything to irrelevant in 2 weeks, which is crazy. Guys, if you haven't noticed, we're missing Chase. He's traveling this week. So, Freddie, will you tell everybody what Chase has got for his pick in this game?
So he is going Arizona State in this game. He thinks they're the most underrated team in college football. And I do want to point this out. The graphic that's on the screen is the AP poll. These graphics were made before the playoff rankings come out because there's a huge discrepancy. Arizona State is ranked 21st in the playoff poll. BYU is ranked 14th in the playoff poll. In the AP poll, BYU is 6th and Arizona State is not ranked. So big discrepancy there with the graphic. Apologize for that. Chase has got Arizona State. He loves what Kenny Dillingham is doing out there. He thinks BYU's gotten exposed, and it'll show again. Arizona State did a lot of good stuff against Kansas State and nearly gave the game away. They'll send BYU packing officially and taking them out of conference championship. I guess spotlight. For me, listen, when I was doing this whenever I was making the graphics and stuff and noticed that Arizona State was favored, I really didn't even want to talk about this game to start with, because when you just are scrolling through the games and not really looking at it, especially when it was just the AP poll, you see Arizona State not ranked against the number 6 BYU. You're like, whatever. You think Arizona State, they're not any good. BYU is going to win. False. I think Arizona State wins this game as well. I freaking love this story, and I love this story for multiple reasons. Obviously, Quinn, you mentioned that they were picked to be one of the bottom teams in the Big 12. Arizona State specifically dead last, and here they are. Nobody even talked about them. Nobody even talked about them. And all of a sudden, they jump in the college football playoff rankings. They are, 2 wins away from making the Big 12 title game with a chance for a playoff spot. Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs. Is Arizona State here? It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. I think BYU was overrated from the jump. Yes, they have a win over SMU, which is a good win. But man, they're just not the team that people thought they was. Arizona State is going to win this game, and I've got them winning big. I've got them winning by 13 plus points in this game at home. I think the environment's going to be wild. Listen, Arizona State has not had a game like this in a long time. So I expect the stadium to be packed, and it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, I'm insanely excited for the environment. The reason no one was thinking about Arizona State is pretty similar to Colorado, where you kind of look up at the end of the year. Colorado early loses out of conference to Nebraska. They get beat up by Kansas State, and you kind of just write them off as they're definitely going to lose somewhere else. And now that we're in November and they haven't, it's like, oh, they're relevant. Same thing happened with Arizona State. They lose at Texas Tech, they lose at Cincinnati. All of a sudden, who cares about Arizona State? Well, now you should. Double-digit win over Kansas State on the road. But you know who also blew out Kansas State? BYU. I think this game is going to be so awesome, so many perspectives. But there's just something. I look. Now I know they were flirting with it a bunch. They were flirting with it, and they were flirting with it. And I kept saying this team just refuses to lose. They can't lose. And then they finally did, to the hands of the Kansas Jayhawks of all teams. I think that's a wake up call for BYU. I like the Mormons to go down to Tempe, play some lockdown defense, and escape with their playoff lives and get on to the next round. I like BYU in a close, and I mean close victory over Arizona State. But I guarantee, like, hear me out. I look, audience, connect. Look at me. I have no clue. I know nothing about the Big 12. No one knows anything about the Big 12. Okay. Like, I want to put that out there. There's just, I don't know. I have this like love for BYU and this connection with them. So I'm not gonna pick against them until they're out of this thing. Give me the Cougars. But it's gonna be some luck and some prayers answered if they get there for sure. But yeah, Cougars in a close one. And you said Chase went Arizona State, correct?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sitting alone on this one, guys. If you have anything you want to add, comment, subscribe, like the video, share it with friends who are into college football. We love hearing all your feedback down in the comment section. Don't forget $20 off with your first purchase using our code 3BoldTakes at SeatGeek. Guys, I've been honored to talk some BYU Arizona State. I'm sure Freddie has as well. And with that, we're going to be logging off.